Hello, happy New Year. Happy was 2026. That's going to take me about a year to remember to write it that way. Happy New Year. Thank you for another great year here together. It, it's a good sign that I don't remember how long we've been kind of have this channel going, but because it feels like we've been doing this for a while, and we have, and I really do give a lot of gratitude and respect to everyone that shows up. It really is a wonderful community here, and I just want to say thank you for another amazing year. Well, let's start over. 2026. No surprise here. We're going to talk a little bit about how to start approaching some of the things we might want to accomplish in 2026. And if you're like, hey, cool, totally into that, but I don't know how to meditate. Do not worry. Every class, even though we have a theme that we kind of focus our meditations around, I always start with a introduction to meditation straight up. So if you've never meditated before, you're in a great place. So that's how we'll start. We'll start with what is this meditation thing? Does it work? Why does it work? How does it work? All those questions that we might have. And then we're going to do a short meditation together. It'll be a breathing meditation type thing. And it's not very long, a couple minutes. Right. And that's to kind of get everyone situated. Oh, okay. This is more or less how we do meditation. And then we're going to talk about our topic for today. And then we're going to do another meditation specifically on that topic. So you get 2 meditations. Wow. Amazing. Okay. So when we hear this word, meditation, what comes to mind? What image comes to mind? Hold on. I'm reading your mind right now. It's somebody sitting cross-legged on the floor, cross-legged on the floor, or handle like this or whatever. This is how. This is like the kind of universal image of meditation, and yeah, there's a good reason for that. That's a very traditional way to meditate. Sitting down, cross-legged on the floor, with our eyes closed, etc. So when we see the kind of countless images of that exact thing when you Google meditation, it's really like it's no surprise that a lot of us kind of feel like that is what I need to be doing to meditate. Right. And some people might say that. I don't. I think meditation is not a seating position. There may be some advantages to doing that, but meditation is goes beyond how you're sitting. It's not a prerequisite to sit in a specific position, which is great because another year has ticked by, and that means more pain as I try to sit on the floor. So I'm in a chair. You too can be in a chair. You can be laying down. It doesn't matter. So if that position is not meditation, then what is, right? Meditation is a technique that we will use to become really familiar with something. Also vague. But it's the best description I got because that's exactly what we're doing. We are using meditation to become familiar with something. Now, you, however old you are, have had a lifetime and a ludicrous amount of examples of becoming familiar with things. In fact, that's like what our mind is doing all day long. It is constantly becoming familiar with things. Ooh, this is good. This is bad. I like this. I don't like that. That's easy. That's hard. And that's like very like rudimentary, right? How do I get to work? Oh, this is, I don't know, literally everything. So we can look to some of the things we've become really physically familiar with as a kind of blueprint for how mental familiarity works, because it's the same thing, right? So if we think about something that you're ultra familiar with, I'll use, I don't know. I'll start off as I usually do. My favorite example is tying your shoe, right? You're an expert. I have never met you, and I know that you are an expert shoe tire. Uh, and you can likely, barring some sort of physical ailment that would prevent you from doing so, if I were like, hey, can you tie your shoe with your eyes closed? You'd be like, okay, here I go. And you'd do it. Because you, in right now, the current state of you is extremely familiar with tying your shoe, the mechanics of it, the techniques, etc. Right? And so as a result, what happens? Tying your shoes, no big deal, right? It just kind of comes naturally to you. Now, when you were a kid, hard to remember, but you were not born knowing how to tie your shoe. In fact, pretty much everyone, the first time that they were shown this thing, it was like sorcery, This is one string. How did you make two loops? And it still blows my mind. And when you tried it the first time, even if you don't have a whole home video of it, it probably, and didn't go so well. Ended up in a knot, didn't do anything, just kind of. This is not because you are not good at tying shoes. You're just not familiar with it. It's new to you. It's not familiar. And so this relationship between familiarity and the output, being the more familiar you are, the more second nature things are, less concentration, less energy to do this thing. That relationship is true across the board, right? The more familiar you are with being relaxed, the more relaxed you'll be. And relaxations is an interesting one because it's generally why people first get into meditation, at least the majority of people. And we start to think, oh, meditation relaxes me. But meditation does not relax you. Meditation is not pulling relaxation from the ether and then here you go. It's teaching you to become really familiar with relaxed you. Version of you that is relaxed. It already exists, that version of you. And if we're honest with ourselves, even if not being relaxed is something we really struggle with, there are times that you are. And so that is a really important focal point for, I think, embarking on like your meditation kind of journey here. Because you already have everything you need. You don't need to go change anything. Right? What we're doing here is just starting to choose where we want our familiarity to be. Right? Because right now our mind is kind of, oh, I don't like this, I like that. Like it's doing it on its own, right? Without a lot of input from us, and so what we're doing with the meditation is actively choosing what we're going to be familiar with. Do you want to be so familiar with being relaxed that starts to show up more regularly? That starts to become your default. Sounds good to me, right? Okay, so how do we do this thing? When we start learning meditation, almost always you start with breathing meditation. There's a lot of reasons why. I think the most obvious one is that it's you got it. You always have it with you, so it's pretty accessible. What the whole kind of breathing meditation and literally any meditation style that you do it's actually called something. It's something called single pointed concentration, which is exactly what it sounds like. You are focusing on one thing and one thing only. Now, if we think about our kind of day to day, do you think that the majority of your day is thinking about one thing and one thing only, or lots of stuff? Multitasking, if you will. Our mind has become an expert in multitasking, which has its benefits. Let's be honest. Get worldly tasks done and whatnot. But it doesn't have as much practice focusing on one thing. And why would you want to do that? Well, great news. We've all here already experienced some of the things that happen when we meditate. You all have meditation experience, right? You ever been in the zone, working on something? You lose track of time. Your chronic knee pain doesn't hurt. It's not cured, but it's as if it's gone because you're so focused on something, one thing, that all the busyness in your mind, all of the here's an itch. What was that sound? I have a project due tomorrow. All of those things that are bouncing around in our mind, there's no room for them. And as a result, our mind goes, and relaxes. And so that's what we're essentially trying to do with breathing meditation. We are using our breath as our focal point, sometimes called the object of your meditation. So we are using our breath as the object of our meditation, focusing on it single pointedly, exclusively, so much so that all the kind of worries about the day, business, they're just going to kind of fade a little bit, right? And as a result, we're kind of relaxed. We have a little bit more of a clear mind. And then what we do with that clear mind is completely up to us. But the first step is kind of pacifying some of the busyness in our mind. Cool? This is an exercise in familiarity, just like anything else. If you have never meditated before, you may be like, wow, my mind's really busy when I try to focus on one thing. And that isn't an indication that this isn't for you. It's an indication that, wow, my mind's really busy normally. And if you practice this, you will it will come easier to you. It can't not. Right? Okay, cool. We're going to do some breathing meditation now. Like I said, I'm in a chair. You can be wherever you want. It does not matter. Just try to be relatively comfortable. Don't be uncomfortable on purpose. I don't know. I didn't even do that. But then you might be focused on that. It might be hard for you to concentrate. And we're going to do about a 5 to 7 minute breathing meditation. Okay? All right. Whenever you start a meditation, it can be really helpful to check in, to actually ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? In this exact moment. Maybe you're feeling tired. You've had a long day. Maybe you're feeling energetic, excited to be here. Happy, sad, whatever it is perfect. We're not trying to change anything here. We're not analyzing it. We're just noticing. Practice taking an interest in what your own mind is up to in this moment. This is an exercise in something called mindfulness, which is a really great tool to start to direct where our attention is. Take a moment, check in. Every meditation, regardless of what kind, pretty much follows these 3 steps. First, we're going to choose to focus single pointedly on something, in this case, our breath. We're going to set an intention to do that, a goalpost. Once we've done that, we will start breathing. And whenever you notice your attention drifts, you're thinking about something that happened earlier or something that happened later, we can just say, not right now, to those thoughts. We'll get to them later. And then the final step is we bring our attention back to our breath. 3 steps. Step 1, set an intention. And all I mean by that is say to yourself, for the next few moments, few minutes, I'm going to focus on my breath to the best of my ability and nothing else. This is your goal. This is your wish, your intention. Let it sit in your mind. Become familiar with it. All other things can wait. For the next few minutes, it's just you and your breath. How wonderful. With that intention set and firmly in your mind, we can act on it. Turn your full, undivided attention to your own breath, breathing in and out, gently, naturally. There's no need to change the pacing of your breath, or if you inhale deep or whatever, just however you normally breathe. That's what I want you to do. In and out, gently, naturally. At some point, sometimes rather quickly, you may notice that your mind is no longer exclusively on your breath. It's kind of paying attention to your breath and also other things. Maybe it's thinking about something that happened earlier today, or something you have to do later after this class is over. Whenever you notice that your mind is drifting in this manner, we can just say, not right now, to those other thoughts. We'll get to them later. They're not bad, they're not wrong, they're not unwanted, they're just thoughts, just not now. And with those other thoughts placed beside you, you can direct your full attention back to your own breath, breathing in and out, gently, naturally. Single-pointedly focused on each moment of each breath. Every day you breathe countless times. And of those countless times, few, if any, are we entirely focused on every moment of breathing. What happens if we choose to do that? We choose to place our attention single pointedly on each moment of each breath. When you inhale, can you imagine, visualize, watch that air being gently pulled from the atmosphere into your body? Feel it travel through you, your shoulders rising, your chest expanding to make room. Feel the energy that a single breath provides. Breathing in. What about when you breathe out? Can you feel your chest contract, your shoulders descend? Can you watch that air as it travels back through your body? Ultimately being released back into the atmosphere, where it mixes in with all the other pockets of air. Breathing out. When we choose to focus single pointedly on something like our breath, we start to notice some subtleties about it, things that have always been there, have always been true. We just haven't noticed them. Right now, you are using your clear mind to enjoy breathing. And if you can learn to enjoy breathing truly, imagine what else you can learn to enjoy. Is there any limit? Breathing in, breathing out, gently, naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. This process of choosing to focus single pointedly on your own breath, noticing when your attention has drifted, and then being able to bring your attention back to your breath. That is meditation. You are meditating right now. You are training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. And right now, that thing, the only thing you want to focus on, is breathing in, breathing out. Very gently and very naturally. So for the last few moments here, just enjoy sitting here, breathing, taking some time for yourself. Okay. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. Welcome back. You did it. That's breathing meditation. Um, 3 steps doesn't mean that it's the easiest thing in the world. And if you are just starting meditating, you might be like, whoa, well, my mind was all over the place. Welcome to the club of our minds being scattered. I'm a long-term member. And this kind of realization, wow, my mind gets really busy, is so important, because this is how your mind is all day. And then we wonder why we're so mentally exhausted, because our mind is juggling bowling pins constantly. And so if you take away nothing else from today, I encourage you to keep trying this, because it is a practice like anything else. And just because your mind is busy doesn't mean you're not doing it right. It doesn't matter. There is no like good meditation or bad meditation. There's just practice. That's it. Good job. Okay, so we're going to talk about our topic for today. And our topic for today is something that I've taught this once before, but it's special to me. And it is a concept that I'm going to call just show up. I live in a very small town. Many of you probably already know that. And in my very, very, very small town, I met a woman whose husband was a lifelong meditation teacher, right? And this is, I think, like a year or two years ago, maybe. So I've also been meditating for 12, 15 years, and it was just really interesting. Like, okay, well, that's cool. There's like another like meditation instructor in this tiny town. He was also a cardiologist, which that's a lot of studying. I don't know. It's impressive, right? He unfortunately passed away, and she had a copy of a book he had written. It was a book of kind of essays on meditation, and she very generously gifted it to me. And I opened up the book, chapter 1. The title is Just Show Up with an exclamation point. And I started laughing, because I mean, if you know me, I definitely, I have a sense of humor. And I felt like this really cool connection with this person, like, because they're presenting this stuff, similarly, right? Each chapter, I guess you can call it, in this book was an essay that was only maybe a page and a half long. But within those pages, like this thin book, there's so much to kind of think about, to take away. And not just because it's chapter 1, but like, I mean, I guess it's a really, I guess this is why he put it there. This concept of what he talked about, which I will now talk about, is really, I think, a great way of thinking about getting started with anything, be it a New Year's resolution, be it trying to meditate, be it you've been meditating for 20 years and you're going to sit down and do it. It doesn't matter. This thing, just show up, is like the first step. It's like the universal first step. Right? So what does that phrase mean? Just show up. We hear it. Hey, you got work tomorrow. You got to show up. Right? So physically showing up, right? That's something that probably the most common way we think about this phrase, showing up, right? We're attending an event. It can be you are right now showing up physically to this live stream. Yay. Right? And like, the interesting thing about the physical kind of showing up is that there's a very clear pass-fail rubric right? Did you go to work today? Right? If we're supposed to go to work and we didn't show up, it's very clear that we didn't show up, right? There's no question about it. And so this phrase kind of manifests in like the physical sense a lot for us. What about mentally showing up? What does that mean? Maybe we are going to a birthday party or something for a friend, and we, prior to the birthday party, we're thinking about what gift to give them, or maybe we want to give them a gift, right? We are not physically in a store. We're not physically at the party. We're not physically with this person. We're sitting on presumably our couch or something, but we're thinking about it. We're mentally there. We've mentally showed up to this birthday party, essentially. And this also has kind of a clear pass-fail rubric, right? Did you think about it or not? And so when we look at this concept of showing up physically, like attending an event, or mentally thinking about something, it becomes really clear if we have done it or not, right? What about when these two are looked at together? Because as you know, our mind and our body are kind of attached. And so we're often physically showing up to places. Are we always physically showing up and mentally showing up? What do you think? Hey, so you doing, man? What do you think? Like, I think a lot of times we're not, right? Like, let's say we're at an event, right? I don't know. Maybe we're at a concert or something. I don't know. And there's all these cool stuff going on, music, like art. But we're thinking about this thing somebody sent to us at work earlier that was like really, it was not nice. So physically, we are at the concert. Physically, we are in the presence of music, musicians, art, all this beautiful stuff. But mentally, we are not there. Have we shown up? In a sense, yes, our body is there, but our mind has not shown up to this event. Right? Or like, sometimes, let's be honest with ourselves, I do it too. Sometimes someone's speaking to you and I'm thinking about something else. They're talking to me and I'm like, oh boy, man, I really would like pizza tonight. I'm not saying it out loud, but I'm thinking it, right? And so like I personally, my body, me, Keith, has shown up, but for those moments mentally, I haven't. What about when we do show up physically and mentally together? What's that like? It's, if you had to define being present, this would probably be it, right? Let's say that same person is speaking to me and I'm not thinking about pizza. I'm thinking about nothing else than what they are saying to me, completely plugged in. Maybe by doing so, I start to notice some subtleties about the conversation, about the tone of their voice, that might lead me to interpret that maybe they're really upset about this, and then I can comfort them. Because both my body and my mind have shown up. The possibilities expand immensely of how much I can get out of this conversation, or how much the person I'm talking to will get out of it, right? 100% participation. Yep. So when we are trying to do something new, and New Year's resolution's a thing, there's no reason why we can't, do resolutions not in the new year, but hey, it's better this than nothing. And so this time of year, we're always kind of like thinking, oh, this is what I would like to do, or be like, or accomplish, or whatever in the coming year, right? And that comes with a lot of excitement, the promise of what may be. It also comes with a lot of feelings of like being overwhelmed, right? And sometimes we don't know where to start. And so just showing up is your New Year's resolution. No matter what you want to accomplish, for that thing every day, you're just showing up. And that doesn't mean that every day is going to be you just grinding towards this goal at like blazing speed. It means that every day you're going to be honest with yourself about where my mental thoughts are, where my, where physically am I there, right? And our goal is just to kind of show up physically and mentally to the best of our ability on that day. That is the path forward. Like, that is how you start to build habit about doing something. And so I really love this like phraseology word, of just show up. It's cheeky, but it is all about choosing to be both physically and mentally there in the moment of the thing you're doing, so that you can get the most out of it, right? And we just did a little exercise in this meditation. We're going to do another one now. But when we were meditating, right, we were showing up. You've shown up physically here, and then mentally we start, and then at some point, maybe mentally, we're starting to go down the street, and then we're like, hey, come on, show up. And we bring our mind back. It's the same concept, right? Before we do that meditation, there is like another kind of relationship between physical and mental showing up that we didn't talk about. And that's showing up mentally, but not physically. What's that like? Can you show up mentally and not physically? Like, let's say you can't make it to that birthday party, but in your mind, you're really wishing them a happy birthday. You're hoping everyone's there. You're like embodying like the compassion you have for your friend. In a way, you're showing up. Maybe not physically, but you're showing up mentally. And showing up mentally is really important because every action, every physical action you do comes from a mental action. In order to give somebody a gift, you have to think, give gift. If you don't ever have the thought, there's no gift to give. And so even if we can't show up physically somewhere, the art of practicing showing up mentally through meditation or whatever, just thinking, is really cool. And so that is something that I encourage you to keep in the back of your mind. It's helped me a lot when I like have to miss things that I really wanted to go to or whatnot. And so this concept of just showing up, it's a lot more flexible than we normally think it is. We think, oh, well, I didn't go to the event, so I didn't show up. But there's other ways we can. Cool? All right. So we're going to do another meditation here to close out our evening. And it's going to be a breathing meditation similar to what we just did. But our goal here is to just show up physically, mentally. When we're meditating, you start to think about something else, and we're like, not right now. Doesn't matter that I got distracted. Look, my mind thinks that's what it does. I'm showing up, right? I'm here, and the practice of noticing and bringing your attention back is showing up. So let's do a meditation where we are physically and mentally here. Cool? All right. Go ahead and close your eyes and get comfy again. Oh, I didn't say this. You actually don't need to close your eyes. I don't know. Most people do, to be honest. It does help with some visual distractions, but sometimes some people don't like doing that. I just thought I'd mention it in case you're new. Okay. Go ahead and close or not close your eyes. And we'll do another meditation together. Our goal for this meditation is to just show up fully. Right now, you are physically in a space. You are physically sitting on something or laying on something. You are here. You are listening. You are participating. You have physically shown up to this meditation. And now on top of that, we want to also show up mentally. Whenever our mind starts to drift away from focusing on your breath, we can say not right now to those thoughts and bring our attention back. But it is not an indication that our meditation is going poorly. By you showing up physically and mentally, you are engaging in a perfect meditation. It doesn't matter how many times you get distracted. The important thing is noticing that you did. So with that in mind, let's make a little promise to ourselves for the next few moments. We are going to show up physically and mentally to this meditation. All other things can wait. We're here. Let that promise sit in your mind. And with that promise in your mind, we can show up. You can start physically showing up by breathing in and out, gently, naturally. And you're also mentally showing up by thinking about what it feels like as you breathe. To notice your shoulders rising and falling. To notice your chest expanding, contracting. When we show up fully to something, like our breath, we start to glean some subtleties about that thing. Subtleties that we may have not noticed if we had just shown up physically. Whenever you breathe in, see if you can sense the temperature of the air. You can feel the coolness of the air on the tip of your nose every time you inhale. How interesting. And when you breathe out, well, that air is a bit warmer, isn't it? How interesting. For however many years you've been around, for however many breaths you've taken, have you ever noticed this before? Breathing in, breathing out. Very gently, very naturally. And if you notice your attention drifting, no big deal. You can just say, not right now, to those thoughts. Bring your attention back to breathing. In and out, gently, naturally. For the last few moments, let's really embody this idea of just showing up. For the next few moments, we're just going to be here physically and mentally. We don't need to think about anything. Don't worry about thinking about your breath. Just exist in this moment, physically, mentally. Show up in this moment. I wonder what you'll find. Okay. Whenever you're ready, no rush. You can open your eyes. Oh. Well, I noticed that my nose was whistling, so I really hope that wasn't audible. Awesome job. We didn't do anything different than last time, but our approach this time was a little bit more refined, a little bit more informed about like what we're actually trying to do. And a lot of times this can lead to having really cool experiences meditating, because the whole concept of meditating is that if we are single pointedly focused on something, if we show up to this thing, there's no telling what kind of awesome stuff we may find. All right. Cool. Thank you. Hope you had a good time. Hope this is, you're like, hey, 2026 is going to rock. If so, come on back next week. We will talk about some other meditation thing. I don't know what it is yet. If you subscribed, excuse me, during the live stream, thank you. If you've done so previously, thank you. If you choose to do so in the future, thank you. It is very helpful for me, so people can kind of see what meditation is all about. And I appreciate the support. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, or you're like, hey, you know what? I'm kicking 2026 up a notch with some private meditation instruction by Keith. I do offer private meditation instruction by Keith. I will give my email. I'll type it in the chat now. It's keith@meditationbreaks.com. keith@meditationbreaks.com. I'm typing it. keith@meditationbreaks.com. Cool. That's my email. Email me any questions you might have as you're meditating on your own, or if you're interested in doing a one-on-one, let me know and we'll find a time. I do them all virtually. There's no cost. Just whatever. I just like teaching. That's my thing. So thank you all for being here. Y'all are the best. And so I echo that. I hope 2026 brings peace, love, and happiness to all of you and to everyone here. Thank you. And I hope to see you all next week.